To the Manchester night after a job well done. First half in which they dominated. Liverpool better in the second, but by then it was too late. 14 shots to 7, just one on target from Liverpool today. They had more in every single game they played last season. City ahead on the expected goals, touches in the opposition box. Interesting to note as well that City behind on possession, I think for the third game in a row. But still, job done here by City this afternoon. Some excellent individual performances. Haaland on the score sheet again after having a penalty saved. And a landmark day for the manager, Pep Guardiola. So let's hear from two of those players, Jeremy Doku, the player of the match, alongside Ruben Dias there. And here they both are with Patrick Davison.
Guys, well played. Ruben, on the manager's 1,000th game as a manager, was that a performance worthy of the very best Pep Guardiola sides?
Yeah, him, everyone. I'm obviously very happy for him. We live for games like this, and I mean, there's no higher level than these kind of levels. So very happy for him, very happy for us, and very happy for everyone, because everyone did a great game.
Well, Jeremy, it was your 100th game for City as well, and I know there was that game against Bournemouth where you had the 4 assists, but have you ever played better than you did today?
I don't know. I think in big games it's always more exposed, it's always more beautiful. I'm just happy with the game and the performance today from the team. From the start, we prepared the game well. And yeah, we were directly at it, so I'm very happy.
But does it mean a lot to you personally to kind of dominate, if that's the right word, a game of this level?
Yeah, that's always good. Good for the confidence as well. But I got great players around me that push me. He pushes me every day because he believes in me, and that also gives me also the feeling that I have to do more every game, and every day I want to improve, and having teammates like that makes it easier for me.
So it sounds like you're on his case a bit, Ruben. You want the best from him?
Yeah, from him and from everyone. We need to push all of us. Myself, everyone, he needs to push me, I need to push him, we need to push everyone. I seen obviously the amazing game he did. I seen just now in the end the sprint Erling did to compensate because Savinha was inside, and we live of these things. I remember still before I came to this club, and from watching this club playing on TV, these were the details that make them win so much. These little differences of everyone ready to show up and ready to sacrifice for the guy next to them.
And I wonder today as well if we saw a little bit of a new City taking shape. Probably you've been feeling it for a few weeks or a few months, but Jeremy giving a player of the match performance, Nico O'Reilly, Matheus Nunes. We know what, with respect guys like you, the kind of City legends can do, but are we seeing a new generation kind of stepping up now?
I mean, this is not new. This has been going on for a while now. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about a rebuild since last season, and there were many changes in the team, which is part of the process of any club and any team that wants to keep on winning. And yes, of course, there's maybe new faces to the one because of the ones that left, but the quality stays the same, and we keep on pushing. And I mean, it's still early in the season, feet on the ground, but we're going to keep on pushing. Yeah.
I think it was another record because Jeremy, you were named player of the match as early as the 63rd minute when you got your goal. So here it is. Ruben's going to present it for us. Well played.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, he went very early today, Gary Neville, and I don't think anyone in here was in any disagreement about that, were they?
Oh, he's a handful, and he's been consistent recently, and of course, when you have an end product like he's getting now, then you take notice of this kid. I think we all saw him over the last few years. There's always been potential, but he's not been consistent, and that's the key time if you want to be a top player or a great player. And then if you're throwing the end product in, then yeah, keep an eye on him. He's looked like he's really settled into the club now, maybe more belief, confidence, and he was almost unplayable today.
We use that word a lot, unplayable, but it does seem appropriate here this afternoon because Liverpool just couldn't get a handle on him, could they?
I think if you look at his style of play, he's one of the hardest players for defenders to go up against for me. I think he's so direct, can go either way. His power output, I think, over a short space, maybe 1 yard, when he drops his shoulder and goes, you can't. Everyone that he plays against, doesn't matter who it is, he's going to cause problems. You talk about his dribbling, he completes so many dribbles, creates so many chances, and I think right now, in his mind, he has a plan. I think sometimes players who are dribblers, they don't necessarily know sometimes what they're going to do. Whereas I think now he's getting himself into areas where he's like, OK, I'm going to go left here. I'm actually going to go right. He's not just playing off the cuff. So I think he's improved so much as a footballer this season, and he's going to go from strength to strength. The goal today was magnificent, and I think the only thing he needs to add maybe is more goals.
Yeah, and we'll come to his goal very shortly, but he had caused Liverpool problems before the first goal, Micah, which I suppose ironically was a team goal from City. Every player and the outfield had a touch in the build-up to this.
Yeah, but something I noticed within this, you say the way Liverpool are set up here, you see Robertson and Van Dijk change not at the right moment, then allows the cross to come in, and then Haaland in the air. Okay, you could say Konate is a little bit unlucky. But when the ball goes across, you've got your centre-half, left back at centre-half, and they should just stay in positions now. Now you've got Wirtz in one way. He's not going to help you stopping the cross. Normally, Robinson, if he was in a position, he'd be out there quicker.
Could he still go, though? I know he doesn't get there quite in time, but he should still try.
He should still go, but he's not set, Dave. There's a difference between going. When you're in a full-back position there, it's all about your distances. And when you feel like you're not ready to go, because you don't... If he goes, he can go round him. So he waits and maybe expects Wirtz to come and help him. That doesn't happen. So if you look at here, Robertson and Van Dijk, as we've just shown now, City have got overload on the right-hand side, with Nunes going really, really high. But now when the ball goes up, it's too late for him to get there, because he's got Wirtz in there. A little bit of communication. You probably want your winger then to just help you out, and then you drop off a little bit. But because he switched out at the wrong moment...
But that's the fullback crossing the ball, though, so Wirtz should be out.
He should be out 100%.
Well, they done the worst thing. They ended up doing nothing.
Correct.
Even if you go and he beats you, do something. They've ended up in no man's land and lack that intensity and desire to stop crosses. And that goes back to that real desire. And to me, what I'm really disappointed with Liverpool, and we said a few years ago, 5, 6 years ago, when the league, the following season, they lack that intensity of what champions need, because obviously you're up there to be, you're the target and you're the best team. And Liverpool, to me, with that, we can show them little clips and go, yeah, he's swapping, or yeah, these things happen in a game of football. But when you do have a decision to make, at least do it with some sort of intent.
What do you mean? Just going out, yeah, but then you talk
to stop the cross.
You talk about champions and all that. Is that then just a mindset? Why would he not be going out there?
Maybe it's his third game in a week, and he's not played a lot all season.
But we can again. Yeah, but it's still early in the game. It's not late in the game, and they were home and they only travelled down the road. Sometimes you make excuses for players travelling across Europe and the intensity of the games. They've had a home game down the road, so you want to be careful making excuses. But we'll have the same with the second goal. And people say, oh, he can be unlucky with the deflection. Just like that intensity. I think if you're not at it as a team and you're just a little bit off it, like they are, at least get the basics right. You have to get the basics right, and that is stopping crosses and kind of being difficult to play against.
We'll come to the second goal, Roy, in just a second. But before then, the moment I suppose that Liverpool have to cling to was the disallowed goal. At 1-1, it might well have turned out to be a different game. And Virgil van Dijk gets a clean header on this. And there is interpretation on the law whether this should or should not have been disallowed because of Andy Robertson's position in front of the goalkeeper in this instance. So the goal is disallowed on field. VAR have a look at it, and they agree that he is deemed to be making an obvious action directly in front of the goalkeeper. That's their interpretation. But what about the argument that potentially he sees that all the way?
I think he does see it all the way.
So should it then be disallowed?
I don't think it should have, based on what we can see with our eyes, but the rule book's the rule book. So if the referee is reading that, or someone's in his ear going, by the way, these are the rules, that angle's not favourable to Liverpool. But I think the other angle is favourable, because you can clearly see he's in a fight. His role clearly is to block the goalkeeper. He's in a fight with Doku. This angle here, he's in a fight with Doku. You could argue when he connects with the ball, he can see that. His line of vision is impeded by Robertson. It's more impeded by Doku for me, if we're looking at the line of the ball.
You've got to reward also the defensive team. There's a reason they're coming up. They're not leaving people stand on the post to clear their line. They practice this. So he's a yard from the goalkeeper, so he is in his eye line.
Can we just play that last angle one more time? I think the reason why they probably gave it is because he ducked. So if you're a goalkeeper and you're set and you get any movement around you, just look at Robertson. When it comes in here, if you roll it on a little bit more,
And to be clear,
he ducks out the way, so now the keeper's thinking, is he going towards the ball?
I think it's that movement that they are referring to, rather than the fact that there's any line of vision which is impeding the goalkeeper in that instance. It's the movement in his direction.
It's a movement. I don't like it.
Have a look at the bottom point here. Making an obvious action, Roy, which clearly impacts on the ability of an opponent to play.
Yeah, and it affects the goalkeeper, because if he's thinking he might get a touch in it, then that affects his movement, surely. And the whole idea of these defenders doing it, they do drills. They come out so they catch people offside. And what they'll say is like, yeah, it's interfering with the goalkeeper. Even the fact he's ducking is that obviously puts the goalkeeper off. And if you look at the goalkeeper's reaction, he's very smart, obviously vastly experienced. He complains straight away. He doesn't wait for the flag. He's saying, listen, this has affected my decision-making.
Let's go 2-2-0 then. And Roy was making the point that perhaps there wasn't that intensity about Liverpool's defending, which has allowed Nico Gonzalez to get a shot away.
You look at it here. Where's the intensity? Remember, this is coming up to half-time. Big moments here.
City on top, very much at this point.
Look, and the players aren't getting out. And I don't want to hear anybody saying, defenders will probably say that. They say Van Dijk might be unlucky. He's not unlucky. You've got to get out. Squeeze up. Put pressure on the ball.
Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's not good to see. Obviously, you know, we're talking about a goal where the shot wasn't even good, if we're being honest. But hit the target. You know, these are the types of things that can happen. Of course, he could have done better, but you get those rewards sometimes when things go your way.
So Liverpool had a better spell at the start of the second half, but then this really ended it as a contest, Micah. Talk us through this from Jeremy Doku.
Well, Daniel mentioned it. He had a plan in his head, the little shimmy, and then the finish is just absolutely devastating. And I think what it means, sometimes you see Doku in these positions, and he gets in really good positions at times, and you don't know what he's going to do with it, but he was clear in what he wanted to do, and then the finish is just...
The finish is brilliant, but
just enjoy that technique for a moment, right?
Listen, I love watching that. Absolutely fantastic. But what you have, when you have a player cutting in like this, Liverpool have to have players coming across. I know you're not going to listen to me.
I'm still
it's a brilliant bit of skill. Oh, beautiful. I'd watch it all day. Sexy football, fantastic. But from Liverpool's point of view, when a player cuts into the box, you've got to get people getting out of it. You watch players just dangling their legs. That's not what champions do. You put your body on the line. Hey, fantastic finish. And I'd watch it all night. Listen, I love watching goals like that. Amazing, great bit of skill. But from Liverpool's point of view, how badly do they want it?
Yeah, we'll come to that. But that little bit of skill from Doku, where he hangs his foot over the ball before bringing it back across.
Like a line dancer, so I don't know what it was. That skill always works for him. He's one of the only ones you see do it. It's that yard that I can talk about, that small bit of power that he has. You cannot match it as a defender because he knows what he wants to do. It's about him making the decision and going for the move. When he does that, he's unstoppable.
It's an irresistible...
Yeah, he was the star of the show. 7 home wins in a row in all competitions now for Manchester City. 100 games for Jeremy Doku. I bet you were glad you weren't marking him today from a defender's point of view.
Yeah, when he's playing like that, he's unplayable at times, and his ability to go past any defender, any player, not just his speed but his strength is underestimated as well. But I think this season we've seen a more composed end product. I think we've seen the excitement and the dribbling and all that stuff and the work rate. I think now he's getting to a stage of where he's able to slow himself down a little bit once he's gone past someone and make the right decision and execute the right pass or the cross or the shot that we've seen today. But these moments here, I think you create your own luck when you're that direct and determined and you work so hard. You do drive at the fullback because there's not many times he's resting in possession. He often drives directly at the fullback and makes the defender defend, which, I don't care how much you enjoy defending, you don't want to have to do it every time the winger receives the ball.
And that initial burst of pace over the first 5 yards is frightening, isn't it?
It's insane. I think his top speed is very, very high anyway, but his ability to generate that straight away is crazy. Like, as soon as he's lifted his leg and he's took the step, he's flat out within one stride, so it is sometimes unstoppable. But these are the moments I think that he's worked on. When I saw him in the Club World Cup, there was just a different level of composure with the end product, and I think that's the only thing that's been missing in his game.
Yeah, and if you can add that to his game with the goals, I mean, it's a frightening product, isn't it?
Yeah, but Steve, that's part of growing as a player as well, you know, and putting layers on your performance and what you can do. And Certainly goals, it's in big games and huge games like that. That's what he's at the club for. But I think watching him, we always knew and we've seen playing wide, a lot of them clips there, 1v1 against Bradley. But actually he's drifting in the pitch as well at times and looking comfortable receiving inside the pitch. And I just think he's growing. He looks like he feels like he really belongs there and he's an important player. And I think that's a big thing for each individual player to think, actually, I'm in the team and I can make a big difference. Don't almost have to prove myself. He's kind of gone through that phase and now he wants to kick on. He's playing with so much confidence, like he is one of the main players, and putting layers, as I said, on his level of performance almost every week. So I wouldn't want to play against him.
And he's still only 23 years of age. Right, all smiles for Manchester City then, but another damaging away defeat for Liverpool in the Premier League. Here's their captain, Virgil van Dijk.
Well, Virgil, there was a sliding doors moment in that game when you had the ball in the net. Obviously, it didn't stand. As you stand here now, do you look back at that or do you reflect more on how Liverpool have played today?
I think in football, obviously, there are key decisions. That obviously happens, and the officials are deciding this, and we have to deal with it on the pitch, both teams. And I think there's no point to discuss this on my point of view, but the reality is that we lost it 3-0, and that's obviously a big blow, definitely.
Before we move on then, have you seen it back? Do you have a view on whether it's a correct or incorrect decision?
It doesn't really matter, I think, what I would say, because if anything I would say would be in the next couple of days in the media, and then the whole international break will be about me saying and commenting on a decision that the referee made. I just rather focus on the fact that we lost here today, 3-0. And but obviously, yeah, decisions are key, and today the penalty and decisions in the game. And, yeah, that's it. You guys can again can debate if it was should have been stood or should have been a penalty or whatever.
Comment though on the Liverpool performance. How did that sort of match up to what you expect of yourselves? Never mind us.
Yeah, I think obviously first half was difficult. You know, I think the way they were much more comfortable on the ball in terms of creating an extra overload in the back with Bernardo dropping a lot, and it was difficult obviously for our front guys to get the pressure on them. But I still don't think there was a lot of, you know, danger. Obviously Doku played a fantastic game, so it was difficult for Connor at times in the 1v1. But obviously, still think we weren't much in trouble. We could have done better, of course, especially in possession. But and obviously then the decisions and the penalty moment, you know, the momentum shifts more to their side, and we had to dig deep. In the second half, obviously, I think we get a little bit more momentum in possession, but our pressing was just not good enough, and the way we did it as a team should have been better. But like I said before the game, it's finding consistency and keep going. And but this obviously losing hurts always, like it should be. That's each and every one of us. But 3-0 especially, and now we go to our countries and stay fit and be ready for a big run after that.
Yeah, Forest at home next for Liverpool. Okay, he didn't want to give his view on it, but he said we can debate it, and we will do, because it was a big moment at 1-0.
Yeah,
he was involved in.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I said my piece at half-time. I thought this was a really poor decision. I think the goalkeeper has got a totally clear view as Virgil van Dijk heads the ball. I don't think he affects the goalkeeper. I think if you remove Andy Robertson from the pitch at this stage, the ball goes in regardless. Okay, he has to duck to get out of the way of it, but that doesn't. The goalkeeper's got to dive regardless. The goalkeeper is going to dive regardless. He doesn't affect it in any way, shape or form. He is in an offside position, granted, but when you look at the rule, part of the rule is infringed, let's say, but part of it isn't. And I'm surprised that was given, I must admit. I think it was a poor decision. Now, that's not the excuse for Liverpool losing. Manchester City were the best team, but that would have been 1-1. It would have changed the game, no question about it. And I think it's a poor decision.
Okay, we can now remind ourselves of the wording that the Match Centre sent out Much to his frustration, Arne Slot. The referee's call of offside, no goal to Liverpool, was checked and confirmed by VAR, with Robertson in an offside position, deemed to be making an obvious action directly in front of the goalkeeper. And you're shaking your head at the wording of that, Michael, because
an obvious action, all right, but that's not a rule. There's a rule that says if you make an action towards the ball, that yes. He's avoiding, he's getting out the way, he's not making a move towards the ball. In fact, there was a goal last season scored at the Etihad in the same fixture that was given pretty similar.
Yeah, Szoboszlai's.
Szoboszlai, yeah, exactly. Well, there we go. Now, what's different in many ways, like Curtis Jones is right in front of the goal there. He's right in front of the goal. The goalkeeper can still see it, as you can see. Now, he's sort of...
If anything, he's further away from the goalkeeper there, isn't he?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, this goal is given, and of course, you know, all of these goals are down to interpretation, and we can all argue different ways, but, you know, as I say, you take Robertson out, that goal goes in, that one there, Szoboszlai, that goes in anyway, without him, as long as he's not interfering with the line of sight, I think that should be a goal. And it's exactly the same today with Andy Robertson. He's not interfering at all with that goal. It goes in without him being there. I think it's a really poor decision.
OK, let's go to the Etihad, see if Robbie Fowler agrees with you, because, of course, he's been there all day for us. I mean, what did you think initially, Rob, in the ground, live?
Oh, I thought it was a goal, and I still do. I think I've seen more replays now to make me think that it's... I mean, Liverpool will be getting an apology from the PGMOL. Obviously, the wording on the phrase that the VAR come out with was he's directly in front of the goalkeeper, or direct... He's not in front of the goalkeeper, so he's not directly in front. So whether it's an obvious action from Robertson to duck or whatever, he's not in front of the goalkeeper when he heads the ball, so he's not directly in front of him. So Liverpool will be getting an apology, because that's... I mean, I think that's an atrocious decision. But Michael's spot on. I mean, look, let's take note away from City. City were by far the better team, but that could have changed the game. That could have changed the fortune for Liverpool. I mean, City were, you know, I mean, full value for the 3 points here, and the performance was brilliant. But you know, you talk about sliding door moments in football, and that could have been one for Liverpool.
Yeah, OK, but you're right, they didn't come up with much in the second half. 4 successive away defeats in the Premier League. The last time that happened was 13 and a half years ago. Bigger picture for Liverpool. They're struggling to find this consistency, aren't they?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier on, I think I mean, players are maybe playing in positions where they're not comfortable. You look at Wirtz maybe coming in from the left and trying to get involved in the middle of the game, where it's just really, really crowded, and he's struggling to adapt to the speed of the game, the speed of the Premier League. But for me, I think it's just a case of, you know, square pegs and round holes for Liverpool at the minute. I think even the subs, you know, that obviously Arne Slot change, were taking off the forward and putting on maybe a false 9. Ironically, there was a number of balls came into the box where you'd expect one of your forwards to maybe have a few tap-ins, but that was gone once the forward's gone, because they're playing with a false 9, and again the numbers coming in from the outside. I think Liverpool's play was a little bit predictable, and it has done for a number of times this year, whereas whoever plays on the left or whoever plays on the right, obviously being Salah, he cut inside and are trying to find a pass. And, you know, at City have got a crowd in there, so there's no room for any passes, there's no room for any players to go through. So, therefore, you look at Doku's performance at Manchester City, where he's not afraid to go down the side. I know predominantly he wants to come inside, but he can go on the outside. Whereas Liverpool were lacking that, was when the ball does go to them, they want to cut inside, and it's hard. I mean, Michael will tell you, it's hard for a striker trying to read, you know, passes into areas of the pitch when it's coming from, you know, from the left-hand side, from a right-footed player. It's hard to sort of make that run. But if you've got like a left-footed player getting to the byline, or a right-footed player getting to the byline, you know, it's meat and drink for a forward, and you know 9 times out of 10 where the ball's going to be. You know, that's what Liverpool are lacking at the minute. I think they are very, very predictable.
Thanks for your efforts, Rob. Thank you as always. That is the opinion of Robbie Fowler and indeed Michael Owen on the disallowed goal. Here is the Liverpool manager, Arne Slot.
Give us your view then on that influential moment, as you put it.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to give my view about it. I think it's obvious and clear that the wrong decision has been made, at least in my opinion.
Sorry, Arne, why do you think that?
Because he didn't interfere at all with what the goalkeeper could do. I immediately after the game, someone showed me the goal that what the same referee allowed City against Wolves last season, Wolves against City last season. So it took the linesman 13 seconds to raise his flag to say it's offside. So there was clearly communication. So, but as I said, that could have influenced the game in a positive way for us, because in the first half we were so poor. But yeah, a set piece can make a difference, and now we conceded the 2-0 from a set piece, and then that was maybe a fair reflection of the first half, by the way, us being 2-0 down, but that's maybe not where it's about.
Yeah. Well, he's pretty honest. Robbie Fowler alluding to the law there. Let's remind you of, well, just a few key words in the law, in terms of Law 11, the offside law. The last sentence there, making an obvious action which clearly impacts on the ability of an opponent to play the ball. And that is what you're contesting, the wording of that.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it? It doesn't impact the ability of the goalkeeper in this situation to play the ball. He doesn't impact it at all. He's not blocking his view. He's not blocking his dive. He's not. There is nothing that he's doing that's impacting it. So I think, you know, you've got a Manchester City fan, you've got a neutral, you've got myself, you've got Robbie Fowler, you've got Arne Slot. Everybody is saying the same thing. It's a bad decision, but don't take anything away from Manchester City. They still deserve the win.
And they got the win in the 1,000th game in his managerial career for Pep Guardiola.
Well, Pep, game 1,000, win 7-2-6. You looked as you walked around the pitch at the end there like a guy trying to savour every last moment. Did you really enjoy today?
A lot. They gave me a good present, the players, staff, backroom staff, with this performance and against the champions. Still, they are the champions. And you had to do a good performance, and they really defensively, and many good things happen, and the players perform in the highest level, all of them. It's almost second half we drop a little bit. Liverpool was better, but yeah, really pleased for everything.
You should be really pleased. And just to finish off, and they're 4 points behind Arsenal now, and it's a statement win, that really. What does it do to the dressing room to beat a team like Liverpool like that?
Yeah, I just think it keeps the momentum going. I think they'll not be happy that it's going into this national break. They would have liked to continue that form and that momentum building. But yes, Arsenal will be well aware now that City are close to being back to where we all expect them to be, and that's not the team you want chasing you in any way necessary. So yeah, it's teeing up well for an exciting second half to the season.
Sets it up beautifully with that 4-point lead between Arsenal and brilliant, Michael. Michael, thank you very much indeed for your company. There we go then, that's the Premier League weekend.
Manchester City's 3-0 victory at the Etihad delivered a blunt reminder of the size of the task facing Liverpool. On a day that also marked Pep Guardiola's 1,000th game in charge as a manager, City controlled large swathes of the contest and punished lapses in concentration with ruthless efficiency. Erling Haaland opened the scoring with a header after his earlier penalty was saved. Nico Gonzalez added a fortunate second just before half-time, and Jeremy Doku's brilliant solo strike in the second half sealed a scoreline that flattered neither side. City were simply superior for long periods. For Liverpool, the match was a catalogue of familiar problems. The Reds managed only one shot on target and struggled to impose themselves on a game that demanded both aggression and tactical discipline. Defensive positioning was inconsistent, midfield exchanges were often sloppy, and City's tempo repeatedly exposed gaps when Liverpool tried to press. Virgil van Dijk briefly thought he had levelled the game with a header, only for VAR to rule it out for a tight offside call, a decision that left players and fans frustrated but did not change the deeper tactical picture. Georgi Mamardashvili produced a couple of important saves, including a penalty stop that kept the scoreline respectable at 0-0. But he was ultimately overrun by the quality and movement of City's front line. Connor Bradley and the fullback channels were tested relentlessly by Doku and the shifting City-wide play, while the returning attackers could not find the cutting edge needed to trouble a polished home side. The result has immediate consequences. Liverpool slipped down the table and now sit well off the early pace, with confidence dented and questions resurfacing about selection, rotation policy, and defensive cohesion. More than isolated errors, tonight exposed a squad still searching for balance under Arne Slot. How to be bold enough to create chances while remaining secure enough at the back to withstand elite opposition. There are practical takeaways. Set-piece organisation must improve. midfield control needs tightening, particularly in transition, and senior leaders must produce steadiness in big moments. A single defeat to a top opponent is not the end of a season, but this one will sting precisely because it highlighted systemic weaknesses rather than misfortune. Liverpool must regroup quickly, demanding fixtures await, and the margin for error is getting smaller.